The CYCN is the Commonwealth Youth Climate Change Network. It's an umbrella youth network of Commonwealth member states getting together young people from different member states to collect ideas, solutions, and common action to address climate change from a youth perspective. And the network was created in 2009 with the support from the Commonwealth Secretariat to gather young people and also try to see how we can empower them, support them to address climate change through a youth lens, which means we need to think about solutions using young people perspectives.
So, and what are you bringing to us here at COP21? Are you bringing any report or any proposals for the negotiators?
Yes, we actually had a meeting in June, which is the Youth Experts Meeting on Climate Change that was supported by the Commonwealth Secretariat. And we were a group of around 14 to 15 young people from across the Commonwealth, and we came together to discuss what we want to push forward at COP. And this is what we are here for, with a few points of ours.
So what are you proposing? Your proposition, can you tell us a bit about it?
One of the ideas that came through that meeting outcomes is, for example, how can we have an agreement in Paris that will help us to have a global partnership on climate change. I will take a very simple example to explain. For example, at the education agenda level, we have the Global Partnership for Education. And this brings together government, donors, and civil society to work together to raise awareness and funding and commitment to address education. So the young people who met in London in June thought that it would be good to have a global partnership on climate change where young people can work as civil society stakeholders with government to ensure that we can hold government accountable to their promises to ensure climate change is being fighted. And we thought that this idea could be very relevant for the Paris outcome. We also thought of having a youth vulnerability index because we need to see how climate change is affecting young people and able to try to see it from a way where we can find solutions, including young people not only as victims of climate change but also as equal partners to address the threat.
So you are expecting that your proposition enters the negotiation and the final agreement?
Yes, and there's actually more to that. For example, in the meeting we discussed about gender, health and human rights. Not many people know about health. For example, it's often neglected when it comes to climate change. 3.1 million people die annually thanks to air pollution. And there are also gender involved. So that's why we also put together the three and came with a proposal to have a joint program under the UNFCCC on gender, human rights and health. And the other point that I want to push forward for is we come from a small island. I come from a small island developing state, which is Mauritius. And almost 60% of the member states in the Commonwealth are small states, and many of them are small islands. So ocean mean a lot to us, and one of the recommendations that we want to push forward for is the implementation of national policies that enable sustainable ocean governance and also help young people get jobs through the blue economy concept.
And are you optimistic about the fact that the negotiators will listen to the voice of the youth from the whole world and from Commonwealth?
We started the advocacy before COP21. For example, during the Pacific Youth Ministers meeting in Samoa in September this year, youth ministers recognized and endorsed our recommendation. That was already a way for them to see the relevance of our recommendation and to advocate for Minister of Environment and the COP negotiators to take this into consideration. And the Secretary General of the Commonwealth Secretariat as well acknowledged the relevance of our work, and we think that the work we have to do here is to collaborate closely with member states from Commonwealth countries to see how we can convince them to do more than endorsing and including our recommendation. And we have big hopes that could be possible because we started to advocate for that.
Thank you very much for your time and for your answers.